I got to compare. It's only right. Everybody here is here. Congratulations. You made it to the conference finals. But there's one specific guy who's been standing out to me in every series that he's played in, and that I got to consider the best player in this playoffs right now. So I was going to let you go first in this instance, but I think I got to go ahead and just say it, bro. Jalen Brunson has been the best player in the playoffs so far, as he's already in the conference finals. I know you can make an argument for SGA. You can make an argument for Ant. Ant is my personal favorite star player who's left in the playoffs right now, but nobody compares to what Jalen Brunson has been doing. This man has been putting the Knicks on his back. He done hit buzzer beaters. He done hit game winners, all kind of things, silencers. Like, this man has been incredible, so I'm super excited, and we'll preview the series about the Indiana Pacers in just a second. But for me, the best player remaining in this playoffs right now is Jalen Brunson, and it doesn't even come close.
Wow, man. Okay, so I will say this: Jalen Brunson has been balling. I'm going to give him his flowers real quick because what he did to Detroit, I was mad. I kept calling him a flop artist on Twitter. But I got to admit, he's a bucket. That game winner he hit on Asar to end the series, that was he's a bucket. I want to say this: if the Knicks do go on to win the finals, the Pistons push them to the brink of potential finals champion. So I want to say that, so our future's bright. But to go to your point, Brunson has been absolutely balling. What he did to Boston, even before Jason Tatum tore his Achilles, they were going to beat Boston, and that was saying a lot with how stacked that team is. However, Manny, I think you're wrong. I gotta go with Anthony Edwards, legend killer. This man has beat Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James. I don't want to say he beat my boy Steph, even though he technically did, but Steph got hurt in game one, and they did win that game. So maybe it would have been different if Steph won. I can only dream about that. But the point is, I gotta say Ant, because I see he's a baby Michael Jordan. I don't know if they're actually related. If Jordan, I don't know. They're probably not. But I think Ant has just been balling. He's had some bad games. Jalen Brunson's been more consistent, but I think Ant is going to win the Wolves their first championship.
I hope he does, honestly. But that's where I was going to go about the consistency. I think Brunson has been more consistent. That's ultimately why I picked Brunson as the best player in the playoffs remaining. But I do hope, Anthony Edwards goes on to win, and we'll discuss the series in a sec. But it makes me think to another guy who is never going to get the credit. They consider him extremely overrated, and I think it's very important that we talk about this because this man is a bucket, and he's been showing his behind. Tyrese Haliburton, bro.
Hooper.
Nobody wants to give him credit. Nobody will give him credit, but you can argue that Tyrese Haliburton is one of the best players left in the playoffs right now because of how consistent he's been, because of how important he's been to this Indiana Pacers team. And this man you can combine, this is how I look at Tyrese Haliburton. You take a prime Chris Paul, prime Steve Nash, and put them together, and you add a little athleticism from a young Damian Lillard, or I ain't gonna go too crazy, but I'll just say that you add the athleticism from a young Damian Lillard, you throw Chris Paul in there, you throw Steve Nash in there, and put it all in one, and you're looking at Tyrese Haliburton. That's how I look at him in the way he's been playing in this playoff so far. And without him on his team, the Pacers offense would not flow the way it does, and everybody else wouldn't be as involved as they are in this offense. So this is why I'm like, Tyrese Haliburton, you can also make that argument that he is definitely one of the best players remaining in this playoffs right now.
He's definitely one of the best players remaining, without a doubt. I wouldn't say he's better than Brunson or Ant just yet. That's just my personal opinion.
Facts.
But he definitely is one of the best players. He deserves credit. Back-to-back conference finals appearances, conference appearances than Joel Embiid. Just had to put that out there. Because, Tyrese has been balling, and he's had moments. Like the game winners he had against Cleveland. Cleveland was the best team in the East all year, and they beat them, and it was convincingly. So Tyrese, I think what he's doing, and if he were to get a ring, I think that would be special too, because a lot of people kept saying he's overrated. He didn't do much. He just only hits shots at times. He didn't play that much over the summer with the other best players in the Olympics. But no, I think his experience from over the summer of not getting that much PT, being around guys like Steph, Brown and them, I think that's why we're seeing so many guys like him and Brunson be able to flourish right now, because Anthony Edwards even said after they beat the Warriors, he said he worked with Steph over the summer on shooting. That's why he's been able to hit more threes. So I think Tyrese is a bucket, and I will say this, I think he's the most clutch player left in these playoffs. I stand on that.
Whoa. Hell nah, bro. I'm not letting you get away with that. I'm not letting you get away with that. Tyrese Haliburton?
Buzzer beaters, get step back. I'm talking about out of the players remaining. I'm not saying he's the most clutch player in the league.
I mean, Jalen Brunson is still here, bro. You can't.
True.
You got Tyrese Halliburton over Jalen Brunson is more clutch.
I think he's a little bit more clutch. With Tyrese has already had memorable shots already. We got to think about the game winners he had in Cleveland and what he was doing in that series. Come on, and what he also the game winner he also had against Milwaukee, beating that Giannis team, with Dame.
Oh, that was crazy. Oh,
so because he's already had like 2 or 3 game winners. In this postseason, you can make a case Tyrese Halliburton has been the most clutch player.
See, that's tough, bro. And I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. And because you have a valid point. In that Milwaukee series, he was clutch as hell. And then in the Cavs series, he was clutch as hell. So you have a point. But it's hard to wrap my mind around it just because of the impact of what Jalen Brunson has been doing. And then obviously, oh my gosh, bro, the dagger that Jalen Brunson hit against my Pistons was just like, dog, I felt it. I felt. So the pain was there, bro. That like, I don't cheer for the Bucks. It was just an amazing game, and it was amazing buzzer beater. Same with the Cavs. I was actually hoping the Pacers won anyway, so I was happy that happened. But bro, with the Pistons, where I'm like, we finna go to 7 games, and then Brunson fucking tween, excuse my language, I need to beep it out, but tween, pull up. Oh, dog.
Yeah, that was tough. I'm not gonna lie, when he did that, I was like, oh, it's just like somebody put a knife like through your heart. It's like, dang, because the Pistons were right there. So I see what you mean about Brunson, and he's been phenomenal. But I think Tyrese has had more moments. And hearing what you just said, that one shot did win the series. Don't get me wrong, what Jalen Brunson did. But Tyrese had his moments against the Bucks, and he also did it against the Cavs. And really, they were big underdogs in the Cavs series. So I think Tyrese has a point to prove.
Bro, you know what these daggers feel like? And then we're going to move on because we're going to go to the actual predictions. So, like, all right, you ever watch Avatar, like The Last Airbender? Yeah. So this just remind me, bro, all these daggers, the Tyrese Halliburton buzzer beaters and the game winners that he hit against Milwaukee, Jalen Brunson hitting the buzzer beater against the Pistons. Bro, these daggers just feel like when Aang took my man's powers, when he took the Fire Lord powers. This is how it feels on the opposing team, bro. Like when Brunson hit that against us, that's how it felt. It felt like it was like, and then took my powers. I'm like, damn, bro, we lost. Yeah. So it's like, for Halliburton to do that against Cleveland.
And to go on your point about the Avatar, because one, that's an amazing reference. 2, you want to know why you're so right about that? Wow. Because after he hit the game winner, Malik Beasley had an open 3 drop it because everybody was still memorized over. Think about it. We're all still like, Jalen Brunson hit the shot. Then we actually have a chance to tie the game. Malik Beasley drops it. That's the season. That's the season.
And that was the season, bro. Oh my gosh, that was rough. I don't know how the hell we got on that. Anyway, look, we're going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to jump back into some of the predictions, kind of wrap up what else been going on in the playoffs, but we'll jump back into the predictions of the conference finals and the teams we're expecting to win. Teams I'm expecting to win, teams he expecting to win. So give us a break. We'll take a quick break. It's halftime. We'll be right back.